Welcome to the Excelsior Health Podcast. This is the podcast for busy professionals and busy parents who are battling weight gain, high stress, and a drop of self-confidence. What we do, guys, is we take complicated concepts, we break it down to simple action items so you can understand how to prioritize strength training, healthy lifestyle habits, and how to create a positive environment. And the end goal is you lose fat, build muscle, and you transform your health. All right. So I'm your host, Coach Cory Fernandez, owner of Training for Warriors Sauga. And right beside me, my lovely co-host,
Coach Susie.
Today, guys, we have a very special guest. Anytime we do our interviews, it's always the most probably exciting episodes that I'm sure people watch the most. But I have a special guest here today. The way I would describe our special guest is she's one of our greatest students that we've had at Training for Warriors Sauga. The results that she's been able to accomplish has inspired so much other people to join this program. So I'm so proud of everything that she's done, and she's going to share that. But she's also one of our coaches who joins us in this mission that we have here at Training for Warriors, which is saving lives. So on a day-to-day basis, she's helping so much of our clients transform their health and their habits. But the last way I would describe her is she's a great friend. So she's someone that's very close to me and Susie, and she holds a special place in our heart because she's such a positive, enthusiastic, caring person. And we just love spending so much time with her, and she makes our lives better. So I'm happy for those of you guys that don't know Melizza to get to know her a little bit more, but I'm happy for her to share some knowledge bombs on how you could start to transform your health on your journey. So without further ado, MeLeader, what's up, girl?
What's up? Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
All right. And you guys might see me say like 4 different names. It's Melizza, but it's also MeLeader.
I call her Isa.
Isa. So you're going to hear different names, right? But the reason why she's called MeLeader is in your journey of basically from transitioning from student to coach, she just was that person in any class that she was in. She was the leader. Like, she was just the most enthusiastic. She was the person that if someone was new, I'd be like, okay, I got to put her with Melizza. She'll take good care of them. So over time of her just being this leader and just being this role model and example, it just rolled off the tongue one day. And I'm like, hey, your new name is MeLeader. So when I introduce her to people, that's what I say now. So MeLeader, a.k.a. Isa, a.k.a. Melizza, give us a little bit of introduction. Like, who are you? Who are you as a person? Let us know.
So you said my name already so many times. I am 34 years old. I am turning 35 this year. Loving wife, loving mother of 2 kids. And I am a full-time student success coach and manager here at TFW Sauga.
There you go. Okay, so what I want to start off with asking you, if we were to go back, okay, so you're this attractive, strong, capable, beautiful woman, super mom, even if you want to call it. If we rewind back 5 years, even before that, describe to us your fitness experience. Did you grow up this fit, strong woman? And like, what led you to start your transformation journey here at Training for Warriors?
So for me, my entire life, I always considered myself as a skinny fat person. So especially, let's say in elementary school, I was active. So I would play basketball, volleyball. I would do track and field, believe it or not. I would do the high jump. I would jump not so high.
I see the high jump.
The long jump, yeah.
When we've done certain drills in the dojo, like that's why I was like, damn, girl, you could jump.
Right.
I'll put you on the football team.
The volleyball team, so I could jump. I got some vertical hops there. But then even throughout high school, so I would carry that all the way, same sports or just being active. But I never really prioritized strength training, or I had little knowledge of how it would affect my body. So I would be more of a cardio bunny, let's say. So I would go to LA Fitness. I would hop on the machines, let's say the treadmill or the elliptical, the Stairmaster. You know, in the gyms, how they have a lot more machines than they do people.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those people that was on there.
Yeah.
And
It's a safe spot.
yeah, because I wasn't confident. I didn't know what to do or do it safely. And then I guess I was living in the shadow of my brother. So my brother, you guys are very close. You guys have known each other when you were younger in elementary school. So actually, Coach Cory and I have known each other I've known you since you were in grade 9. I was in elementary school. I was maybe grade 7.
Yeah.
It was a house party, and he was doing his little dance. He was doing his moves. And all my girlfriends thought he was super cute. I was like, I can see it. Yeah, he has potential. And honestly, from there, it's my brother. So my brother, just living in his shadows. He was always that person that everyone looked up to. He's so active. And like, even for me, he was my role model. So now it's like, how can I be my own person, not just be known as Mark's sister? So fast forward after, let's say, I never really prioritized my health. Maybe after college, after high school, it was just something I put to the side or didn't really focus on. So now that I got married and we had our first daughter, that's when I really started to switch gears and shift my focus. It's like, okay, my body is not just for me, it's for my daughter. It's nourishing her. It's when I need to be able to keep up with her, have that energy. And not just for when she's young, when she's a baby or a toddler, but in the future, long term. So to be there for her, just to be that mom, that role model. And she was my Y power. So I found out about TFW because, again, with my brother and then even my husband, he started with you guys, intern Sean, Coach Sean to be. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to make a change. So I'm going to do something out of my comfort zone. I'm going to prioritize my health as a mom. And I promised myself I would get my mom bod, my old lady bod. I'm not training just for winter, spring, summer, fall. It's when I get older, when I'm in my 80s, that's the kind of person that I want to become. So I knew right away I had to make a change. And it was 3 months after I gave birth. So I gave birth February 2020. And 3 months after, it was about May 2020, and you had this Mother's Day special. And I'm like, you know what? I need to take action. Wherever I'm at, I'm not happy. I got to do it now. So I commented that I wanted to join, but then I think maybe I stayed about 3 days or so. And then that's when I met with my doctor. She's like, nope, it's not safe to lift just yet because I did have a C-section. I couldn't even lift a vacuum. And I'm like, okay, I have to pause. So that's when you kind of like, she's not going to stay that long. She's whatever. She's just going to be quick in and out of the door.
Because you said, hey, I'll be back. Like, I'm
exactly.
back.
Yes. I said, I'm coming back. But I think you had your doubts in your head. You're not going to come back.
I'll see her. Okay. Yeah.
And then eventually I came back again in August 2020. I'm like, you know what? I still need to do this. I'm still interested and I'm still prioritizing me as a mom. So that's when I signed up and I never looked back since.
Okay. So let's go back for a second. You said, hey, I grew up, I was very active, but I wasn't like highly invested in terms of strength training and prioritizing my health. You describe yourself as someone who's like skinny fat, right? I remember you. I know you don't have this image of her. I just remember Melizza as a very skinny, fragile girl. And then when I because it was years since I seen you, I remember like maybe going to Square One. You worked at Baskin Robbins.
Yes,
right. Yeah. I remember just seeing you one time. I was like, oh hey, Melizza. But then it was like fast forward years later when I saw you. This is like after you had Cammy. I was like, oh whoa, she's not this skinny little girl no more. She's a woman now, right? So. At this point now, where you're at, what were you going through that made you want to sign up to a program and sign up, to a place like this? What was like the feelings you were going through that led you to do that?
I would say, again, like it's being that mom to Camilla at that time. It's like, now you created this little life and now she's going to look up to you like, she's going to live in your shadows now. It's like, how are you going to grow up? How can I become better myself? So it's setting that example for her, being that role model. And honestly, it was just that switch. Like, my body, again, it's not just for me, it's for her.
But for example, like a lot of people, you know, they take pride in being a great mom. They love their kids, but that lifestyle change of like, hey, I'm going to start paying money to a coach, to a gym. I'm going to change my whole life to be healthier, to be a better mom. A lot of people don't do that, even though they love their daughter so much. So like, was there something that, like, what made you have that switch to be like, man, I got to do this. I got to transform my health. I got to take care of myself. Was there a moment, or you just...
I just wanted to do something different.
Okay.
Because I've always done something I plateaued, I guess, or I didn't see results that I wanted. And it's just that mentality of, now I have my daughter. Yes, I would die for her, but it's like, can I actually live for her? So it's that aha moment of, as soon as I gave birth, I knew it. I knew that my body was something I wanted to prioritize and invest in.
And how did you feel going through like the C-section? I can only imagine that, but from what you've described to me, it was like, couldn't barely pick up anything, couldn't do anything physically. You tried, and when you came into the program, you were told not to. So I think for a lot of people, that would have been the excuse of like, hey, well, I tried. I did a couple workouts. The doctor said, now it stopped. Like, what made you come back after going through that, like, kind of pain and that experience?
It's knowing, I guess, finding out that even having that C-section, I was not expecting to have a C-section, actually. So as soon as the doctors told me that my uterus was binary, so even like heart-shaped, and my daughter would be born feet first, it's like those feelings of doubt, uncertainty, all the negative feeling. It's like, can you do this? It's like not being confident. But then when I actually went through it and I overcame it, it's like, you can do the hard shit. You can be mentally tough. And like, it was just that moment, like I wanted to do more, and I wanted to, I guess, like prioritize my health. And knowing that after surgery, it was just so hard to walk and not take my body for granted and just prioritize my health from there. Because like a lot of people, not just having a major surgery, but let's say some people have one leg, or it's just taking care of your body that you have. I don't have any other body. It's just what I have now.
So like that, going through that process of having a C-section was almost like I don't know if awakening is the word, but it just made you realize, whoa, like I need to take care of this body. Like I don't want to be walking around or going through life where it's so difficult for me to do everyday type things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because I know how it feels to not walk. So from the recovery period, I could not even walk at all. Like, it was so much pressure. Sean would have to do the groceries for us, and it's not a burden that I would want to put on him if I, let's say, continue down a road that wasn't unhealthy, or that was unhealthy. So it was just that moment knowing that, it's not just for me, but for my family, for Sean, just having that mentality, just being strong.
Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about, this is rewind back 5 years ago. You're about 30 years old, just had your C-section, you're back. You decided to sign up again. Talk about some of the challenges that maybe you went through with being a mom, not being someone who's done a lot of strength training before. Maybe you're still insecure about your core strength, or you're just insecure overall. Just let us into insight of some of the challenges you went through starting your journey.
I would say, so I did actually start at like 150 pounds. I was maybe 30+% body fat, and I just wasn't able to move, or I wasn't really as strong as I would like to be. So even being insecure, like, my whole life I was skinny fat, but now I gained so much weight over my pregnancy, and it's like my clothes won't fit as tight as they would before pre-pregnancy. And just I guess, feeling frail and weak. So now as I went through my journey, it's having that mental toughness to actually dig deep and lift the heavy weights.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it wasn't just about going to the gym, but just more of, let's say, working on the mental muscle. It's more mindset for me now because I've never been in that uncomfortable headspace before to actually grow. So I feel like being at TFW, being a student at TFW, it's helped me grow. It's helped me improve. It's helped me become more confident. It's taught me a lot about discipline, and just being persistent and just be that super mom, just be strong.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you did to become, this super mom, this fit, healthy woman, this coach? Give us some of the things that you've done over this last 5 years that has led to the transformation.
Mm-hmm. So for me, it was more so I need to level up. So even, let's say, my first shred, I think it was my first shred with one of our previous coaches, and he just threw me into Brute Hurricane. So that's when I was like, I don't know what I'm getting to myself into. I knew it was fun. I'm like, oh, I could do that. It was like, 80 yards? And then all those.
To give an example, so for example, in the program, we have these things called shred season. And it's a way that we get our students excited about their goals. So it's 6 weeks long. We break up into these little teams. We all have our goals, but you get points for doing certain things. You get points for attendance. You get points for how much results you get. But one of the coolest things is we do these performance challenges. So what Melizza's talking about is she was new. Usually when you're new, you're not put in a position to do a performance challenge. But because Melizza wasn't significantly overweight, she was functional, she can move. The coach needed someone to do something. So she wasn't necessarily prepared, but she got put in a situation. And that's often when you grow, is like you're confronted with a challenge. And even if you're not prepared, you take it on. So I remember walking into the dojo, not knowing that she was about to do it. And I seen her and I went to Saul. I was like, yo, why is Melizza doing this? Like, who signed her up to do this? And I was like worried because I thought you were going to throw up. I thought you were going to pass out. But she ended up it's a sprinting challenge and then you got to do some weights. She ended up completing it. But that was like your first kind of moment. That was like your moment of like, whoa, like I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Like I remember my time. I think it was even like 3:14 or something. And then you came, you're like, oh my God, like how was it? I'm like, yeah, it was okay, like good. And then that was the time, it was during even a hurricane, and I did the hurricane class after. They're like, only do 2 rounds because you just did the Brute Hurricane. I was like, okay. So I still had some juice left in me. And I'm like, okay. So now it's like I'm reading my body. I know what I can do and what I'm capable of, and like just getting stronger over time. So that's a really, that was like my aha moment there. That was in 2020. And then, just compounding habits over time. So I've been getting stronger. With my favorite lift is deadlifts. So even I think my 3-rep max in a sumo stance was about 300 pounds. And even, let's say, fast forward to today, after having my second child, I ran a half marathon after over a year of having my second C-section. And it's like putting that limiting belief in your head, but then when you actually execute and do it, and it comes to life, and you do more than what you've expected, that's what, like, those are the moments that I live for.
That helps build your confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, it's just those type of moments. Like, I was so proud of myself. I was under 2 hours, and my pace, like, I don't know if it was the game day vibes, but it's just being able to push yourself, just emptying the tank, whatever you have left in there, but just giving everything you have every single time that you have available, have alive when you're here.
And so to give some more context, like Melizza just did a half marathon this weekend. And part of the inspiration was that, like, you set this goal right after your son was born. It was like, man, I want to, a year from now, be able to run a half marathon, transform my body so that way I can do that. So, I'm sure you were super emotional doing the race, running with your daughter and being that inspiration. But that's an amazing accomplishment to be proud about. Is there any other things along this journey that stood out to you that made you really, really proud of what you've been able to accomplish? Maybe some details of like the type of results you accomplished, like specifically?
Oh yeah, for sure. So even my body fat. So when I started at over 30%, it dropped down to my leanest was like 12%. And that's where I got the nickname MeLeader. And then even hitting MeLeader. So it's like getting stronger, but not, when I was lean, it looked like I was skinny fat again, but also now with muscle. But now it's like playing with those numbers and just reframing my body recomposition to a place where I feel happy and confident. So my mentality was more be strong, not skinny.
Right.
So my big moment, in, I guess it was 2023, was hitting Legion. And then I did get pregnant with my son. And I guess even for me to be proud of training when I was pregnant with my second child. I did not train when I was pregnant with my first child. And that's something that was a learning experience, a big challenge to overcome, and something that I was proud of, that I actually did 4 days for life. Okay, let's say 3 to 4, depending how we felt that day, with a lot of pregnancy hormones. And then honestly, making a comeback from when I did give birth and leading up to today, being, let's say, 15% body fat, approximately.
Can you guys, even just hearing you guys talk about, both of you guys have such experience with that, like the benefit of working out while pregnant. Like who, maybe Susie, you can touch on that. Who's the type of person that maybe should do that? Like, what do you say is the benefits? Because you've done that multiple times.
Yeah.
And now, Melizza, you just gone through that experience too.
It's funny though that you asked, because when I went to see my doctor, when I found out I was pregnant, she said, make sure you don't lift heavy. And in my head, I'm like, this is my 4th rodeo. Don't tell me, I know my body. But honestly, like, there's doctors out there and they prescribe the same things to every woman, but every woman is different. You have to know your body individually and listen and be cautious, but also listen to your body, because you know your body most than anybody else. So I think definitely the benefit is helping, I would say, still being you, being confident, not using pregnancy as an excuse to overeat, to be lazy, to slack, especially when you're someone who's already been training. It helps with just the labor part, and then it helps with the recovery part as well. And you don't want to get lost in being a mom, taking care of your kids, taking care of your spouse. You still want to be you and be the best version of you.
Anything from you too, MeLeader, on like the process of like how it made you feel, like just working out compared to not working out while being pregnant?
For sure. Like, I would say, like, before, when I wasn't working out and I was pregnant with my first, like, I had less energy. I felt so drained. I felt so tired. I would always want to throw up. And it's just aches and pains of just sitting down all day. But then now, my second child, it's like when you're active, when you're moving more, again, like Coach Susie said, it's the recovery process. It helps you with your labor. It gets you strong, and even not just physically, but mentally.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like there's so many lists that could go on. And sometimes even when you're pregnant, like your hormone changes, like you could feel like you want to cry, then you could be happy. But like when you come here and you're around positive people, despite how you feel, at least you never feel like you're alone. You feel like you have the support, and being pregnant, you always need that support with you.
Yeah. And just, being the coach for you, but also being your spouse, it's like I've seen the impact it has on you guys mentally. Is like when you move, you feel better. Your body's changing, you feel uncomfortable, you're thinking of how you used to look, but just literally, we say it in the program all the time, is your motions impact your emotions. So that's why it's super benefit. And then I think, like you said, the recovery. It's, you've been doing it for whatever, 6 months, 7 months. And after pregnancy, it allows you to get back on track a little bit quicker, right? One thing that I do want to say is, hey, if you have a history of, scares when it comes to pregnancy, then yeah, you definitely got to consult with your doctor. You got to make sure, Is this a situation where you should stop? Yes, there are situations where working out while you're pregnant is a no.
Mhm.
And if you're someone who's overweight, you haven't been training for a long time, we don't recommend start working out while you're pregnant. It's more that, hey, you have been working out, you are physically active, you want to keep that going through pregnancy. It's not going to be the same intensity.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will say that, but hey, doing strength training 3 days a week, walking on a regular day basis, it can make a huge impact on that journey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For
All right.
sure.
So going back to you, Melizza, hey, you said a couple of things that you're proud of. Obviously, your physical transformation, going from skinny to overweight, high body fat percentage, to now MeLeader, but also MeLegion, but also strong and fit, right?
Mhm.
And for those of you guys who don't know what Legion is in our program, it's these standards of exercises and weights that you got to get to as a woman based on your height that it's very hard to get to. We have maybe less than 10 people that have accomplished this out of 1,000 people that have come in this gym. And Melizza is one of those people that have done that. What I want to basically share, and maybe we'll start with you, Susie, is like, those are the things you're proud about of yourself. What are you proud of Melizza for? Because being a coach, being a friend,
Yeah.
just her journey.
There's definitely a lot to be proud about, especially because we're like training partners. So we spend a lot of time together inside the dojo, outside of business hours, even, our kids are best friends. But I think it's just the comeback of the consistency, because during your pregnancy, it's easy to give up and use it as an excuse. But like you mentioned, like training while you're pregnant is hard to stay consistent, but then also coming back and still having that same mentality of I'm strong, I'm confident, I could do it. Even though you're a mom, whatever it is, like you're still you. And I think having that self-confidence is definitely one thing I'm super proud about. You've never lost sight of who you are as a person.
I appreciate that. Shakira.
Cry fest!
No, I was holding it in.
And, to add on to what Susie's saying, what I would start with you as a student, you've gotten so much awards in this program because you've worked the system, so just giving people insight, because they might be like, wow, she got all these results. How did she do it? You're someone who trained consistently 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
You had a very consistent routine. I would know when I would see you at typical times, right? So that's one thing that she did really good, is she controlled her schedule. She had great habits. But to me, the number one thing is like seeing not only the physical change in you, it's the mental change. Where how you started this podcast today, you said, hey, I used to be like Mark's sister. But I think personally, you've created your whole new, avenue, your whole new identity, where a lot of people in this program, they look up to you.
Mm-hmm.
They see Melizza as this woman who's doing marathons, who's doing 300-pound deadlifts, multiple chin-ups, working hard. So it's the physical transformation, yes, that we've used as a program to inspire so many other busy moms, but it's the mental transformation,
Mm-hmm.
where the way you associate training and eating healthy to your why power of your kids and being an example for them. But the other part where I love is seeing you change the trajectory of your career. So for those of you guys who don't know, like Melizza was a longtime student. And I remember being on a call with her brother, Mark, and I said, what does your sister do for a living? Like, what does she do? And he's like, I don't know. She does this. I was like, yeah. And I don't remember if I told him, but like already in my mind, I was like, man, like there's something about this girl that I think she can be a coach. Like I just like her. Like she's just got this personality. She's always enthusiastic. She's always coachable. She's a really good human being. Like people gravitate toward her. And it was in my mind. But then I just left it at that, and you were a good student. But part of your transformation was like having the courage, I guess, to step up and take on challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And I had posted online, hey guys, we have an internship, we're looking for people. And I remember you sent me a message and it was like, Coach, can we talk? And I was like, fuck. When you get that message like, Coach, we need to talk, it basically,
There's two things, right?
most of the time it's, hey, Coach, I got to cancel my membership. All this stuff is going on. I'm like, no, man, I don't want to lose Melizza. And so I'm like all freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. So we get on a video chat and she's already crying. And I'm like, damn. But then basically what she was stepping up in terms of the courage of saying, hey, I've been in this program. I've been this amazing student over the last couple of years. I want to change my life and I want to be a coach. And she basically said that without me asking. And I remember, I don't remember everything I said, but I just remember said, hey, the fact that you just stepped up and you told that to me and the way you did it shows me how much you care about being it. I would love for you to be an intern. And so basically the point I'm trying to get to you is I'm so proud that you had the courage to do that. But then also it's like multiple times you've had the courage is, you know, there was a point where she was a part-time coach and she was probably one of the best part-time coaches we've had because always punctual, always learning, treating it like a full-time coach. But there was a point where you lost your job, right? And again, you could have decided to go another route, but I remember sitting down with you and saying, hey, girl, like this was meant to happen. Like you were meant to lose this job. I wish you lost the job earlier. Because I've been trying to convince you that you're meant to do something greater. And then you finally had the courage to take on, right, a full-time position here, which is our success manager. But then even that, then you get pregnant.
Another setback, yes.
Right? So she gets pregnant like 3 months into learning this completely new role with all these responsibilities. But she kept showing up. She kept doing her best. And that's probably the thing that I'm most proud about you is, yes, you transformed. You're this beast now and inspiring other people. But it's the fact that you transformed your health and you created a whole new career path. And now you're helping other women just like you go through their transformation journey. All right. So I guess if we can pivot that route.
And I was going to add in, now when Sean comes in, they're like, oh, there's Coach Melizza's husband. Then now he's living under your shadow.
But even that, like Sean, you know, Sean is Melizza's husband, but like even that, there always takes one person in the relationship to make a change and it influences everybody else. In my family, that's who I was. I was the person who prioritized my health. And then Susie started to change her health. Carmela, our daughter, started to change their health. My brother. So for example, Melizza, she was the one in your family.
Actually, it was Sean at first too. Like he started TFW before me, but it's like, okay, so let me try out doing what you're doing. And now it's like, I actually work this system. It's like, yes, we're two different people, two different bodies, but it's like actually going at our own goals and going at our own pace. So for me, it was living in his shadows, but now it's like we have our own goals, but we're doing it together as a team.
But I think you were the one who, Sean started the journey, but you took the journey to another level.
Yes.
And you really transformed. And I think that's the beautiful thing is you influenced Sean, where he saw his wife making all these changes, working out. And then since that, he went through a transformation where he tore his Achilles and he came back and he's lost so many pounds of fat. Now he's working to become a coach. But I would say that started with your change. If you don't go through that transformation process, I don't know if Sean has that amazing journey as well. Hey guys, hope you guys are enjoying the episode so far. This is part 1 of 2. So make sure you finish watching this episode. You'll see it next week or the next video that comes up on the channel. We look forward to having more amazing podcasts and providing you guys lots of value. Beasting!